You have now tuned into Insight Sundays, the show that brings you relevant news, youth topics with a new mission and focus for our communities. Here is your host, Adrian Mickens.
What's going on, Indianapolis? It's your main man, Adrian Mickens, with another edition of Insight Sundays presented by Harambe Production right here on AM 1310 The Light. As always, we want to welcome everybody in our virtual world on Facebook Live. Once again, Facebook Live at Insight Sundays. We're going to give a shout out to all of our sponsors, which are Andrew J. Brown Academy, Indiana Christian Leadership Conference, or ICLC, Buttons and Bows Hair Salon, Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus, New Vision Lighthouse Ministries, Lighthouse Academy Charter School, Vitality Bowls, Providence Crystal Ray, Sam Ash Music Store, and Beach Grove Bible Church. All right, Indianapolis, as always, we have another all-star studded show. In the house today, we have Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus, one of our sponsors that we announce every week. But they're having something special coming up next week. It is their 2-year church anniversary. So in the house today, we have
Pastor Derek.
And
Lady Valerie.
Lady Valerie and Pastor Derek Miller is in the house today, y'all. I know Pastor and Valerie very personally, in a sense where I know who they are and I know what they represent. And they are active and proactive in the community with reaching out to the youth and reaching out to the, when I mean youth, I don't necessarily mean teenagers. I mean the youth as in anybody 35 and under. They're really reaching out to them and really helping them along the way and getting them and pointing them into the right direction because, you know, we have a little thing where people call it the lost generation. Mm-hmm. And, again, I've seen Pastor Miller directly work with the youth and steering them back on track. So I'm going to start off with this question. How does it feel to have a 2-year anniversary?
Really mixed. We're still in awe, of the fact that we're even doing this. So, but it's only by the grace of God that we are doing this, and the ministry has been very fruitful. So, no sad stories. We are honored to do what we've been doing on a greater scale. We have been serving in the community for a number of years and behind the scenes and doing a lot of things. And, as the word says, whatsoever you do in the dark, it's going to come to light.
Yes,
and so the Lord has brought it to light now. Now we're kind of more out in the open and people are seeing what we are doing. And, we don't have to brag or boast about it. It's this the Lord's doing, and it's just marvelous in our eyes. So we just appreciate it and just excited about going into year 3.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this question. The initial vision of the church, I know we had you on the show prior last year, and we talked about some things about how the Lord called you and how, you were like, I don't know if I really hear him or not, but he just kept ringing in your ears. So from starting the church from day one until now, has your vision come to pass, or what are some things that you look to do different moving forward that you thought you were going to do in ministry, but he still took you a whole nother direction?
Well, actually, we are flowing in the vision that the Lord has given us. He gave us a vision for a community church. Okay. And so that was a kind of church that will be open 7 days a week, able to serve and impact the community through various programs and workshops and life skills and whatever that is. And, Pastor Sullivan said it a number of years ago. Mm-hmm. He said, if you believe God for the vision, God will provide the venue. And it was so powerful because when God really did provide the venue for us to fulfill that vision, to have a community church, and Absolutely. He allowed us to take root in a community center, and so we're there. We're inside a community center that serves anywhere between, 12 and 15,000 people a year. So it's tremendous impact, and we are there, and we have been, settling in and being rooted in there, and now we're just expanding out and fulfilling all of that vision.
And including the expansion, what we were talking about, with the youth programs and different things like that. I know that you guys have a youth night. I think it's every Friday. I mean, not every Friday, but the fourth Friday of the month that you guys have the youth night.
And I know that you guys do different activities. What's some things that you do to encourage the youth to be a part of the program? I know that you guys are at Bethel Park, so the youth are there. And as we know, people are hungry for knowledge. Whether it's bad knowledge or good knowledge, they're hungry for knowledge. So what are some things that you work with the youth who's already there, and how do they, get a part of how can they be a part of the youth program that you have?
Well, with the community center being an open center like that, so people are in and out. Actually, the Indie Youth Achievers program that we have, and it's been in operation for 10 years now. It started as an outreach, and just mentoring, 6, 7 teenagers, 10 years ago, and just connecting with them. And from that, it has grown into, hundreds of $1,000s, over $100,000 worth of grant funding. And we have been to nearly 24 states across the country, and we have developed it into a 10-week program, and we're able to instill different life skills into our young people, and take them all over the country, and we charge $65, so they're able to explore the world, the nation, and these college campuses, and so we're not just doing the spiritual side is important, but we understand the natural side, and we have those kind of programs to connect with kids, and we have connected with around 350 scholars in the last 10 years, and many of them are graduating from high school and going on to college, and even graduating from college. We're going to a wedding next Saturday for one of the kids who graduated from college and now is getting married. So we're building relationships, friendships, and so this is the kind of vision that God's given us, and we are walking in it, and it's just been tremendous for us.
All right. I'm going to shift this next question over to the First Lady, Mrs. Valerie Miller. Let's talk about the prayer hotline. I know that you guys have that. Explain how that works. What's the number for them to dial, and the code number, all that good stuff. But explain about it first a little bit.
So we have a prayer line that is on Mondays at 5:30 in the morning. I know Indianapolis 5:30, but I promise you, if you sacrifice, the Lord is going to bless you on there.
Yes.
And then on Wednesdays, we are at 10:30, and so we have a prayer call. We usually start with prayer requests, and then we just go before the Lord over our city, over our homes, over our children, and what we need for the Lord to do.
Yeah. All right. And once again, as they find, I think I found the number here. We got 844-800-2000. Once again, that's 844-800-2000. And then for everybody who has a pen or a paper, or you got the new version with just the Note app, the code is the code number too. Once you dial that number of 844-800-2000, which is their prayer line, you're going to punch in the code number of 143264854. And again, that's Mondays at 5:30, and then again on Wednesdays at 10:30. Again, I'll say that one more time. This is the Bethesda Temple Southeast prayer line, which is 844-800-2000. The code number of 143-264854. Mondays at 5:30 and Wednesdays at 10:30. Staying with the First Lady here, what I was just talking about with Pastor Derek Miller and the youth and the generational gap and how you guys kind of bridge it together. What are some of the powerful testimonies of this new generation? I won't say they have it a lot more harder, but the times have changed where things are exposed to them a lot more faster. So what are some powerful testimonies that you've had to encounter as a First Lady to uplift and inspire, maybe it's a young lady or a young man?
Adrian, our kids are on fire, and it's a joy to watch. Like, I get chills just talking about it.
Right.
But we have a young lady, she's in the 4th grade, and she is witnessing her friends are coming to church, like, in droves. She's begging her mom, can another one come? She's telling them how to be saved and how to connect and how you should act and how you should walk. But again, in a kid and in a loving way. And so it's just awesome to see. And then we also have another young man who came to a Friday night, 4th Friday Friday youth service with his mom, and he had been praying. He said, for a night like this, just to meet Jesus for a night like this. And so it just encouraged our hearts. The kids keep us young and keep us, ready to go in and experience what God has for us.
And, and I'll ask, Pastor Derek Miller this question, because the youth, they do what they see in representation. So do you have some young men there now saying, I could possibly become a preacher when I get older? Do you got someone that pretend sometimes by watching you and what you do?
Well, absolutely. We have a lot of young men, who are having aspirations of, doing things for the Lord. You know how they say it, whatsoever you do for Christ is what lasts anyway. So, we encourage them to fulfill, life's purpose, and whether that's, the natural things, but even every natural thing has a component to it, of a spiritual component, to be a witness or whatnot. So, but yeah, I mean, young men are connecting, and we strive, Lady Valerie and I, to be as authentic as possible, and we are reachable. We connect. We're not the kind of leaders where we don't, become close and intimate with our people, and they know us, and we, there's a trusting relationship, and so I mean, they're growing, they're excited about what's going on. So
all right, well, at this time we're going to take a break. Right before we take that break, I want to make a quick announcement, and that is for all of our Facebook followers, make sure you follow us on Insight Sundays on Facebook. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Once again, follow us on Facebook at Insight Sundays, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, all at Insight Sundays. We'll take a break, and we will be right back. Welcome back, Indianapolis. Once again, it's your main man, Adrian Mickens, with another edition of Insight Sundays. And we're going to wrap up the show here with Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus with their second year anniversary for their church. Following back with Pastor Derek Miller here with the last 10 minutes of the show. I know that you used to be an athlete, more specifically a student athlete. What would you say to the new generation of leaders? I seen one of your sermons that you did, and you talked about, how you wanted to, be an athlete or go in another direction specifically, and the Lord moved you into another direction. So what would you give for advice for student athletes, even if God doesn't shift them into a new direction, meaning specifically in his works of ministry in that aspect? Because everybody in every field is doing God's work. But what would you say to a student athlete to keep them motivated and the right things to do within that, whether or not God shift them or not?
As far as being a student athlete, I mean, obviously the Lord's not against student athletes, and he uses us in different arenas, So, but there's a lot that I gained from being a student athlete as far as leadership skills and teamwork and all of those things. So, I would encourage them to learn as much as possible and develop, your skills. And as you connect with the Lord and you start walking that path, the Lord knows how to allow you to pull back from all of those experiences. I've preached a lot of scenarios and situations of court play and different things, and messages, because they have meant a lot. So it's definitely helpful, and I would encourage them to, just do, connect, be successful, and just learn and grow from, everything that they're doing. So,
and I will say this for everybody, once again, tune in with us on Facebook Live at Insight Sundays, because Pastor Derek Miller really could have went pro. I don't know if y'all know how tall he is. But he's like 6'8". So how tall are y'all? I want to say
6'8".
6'8". Okay, so he definitely could have went to the league, if he wanted to. But nonetheless, I know that the Lord, you wanted to do something because you had a passion for it, and he drove you to do more of his works. And with that, I know that you guys are a part, specifically a network within Bethesda Temple. So how is it working, with the main campus? Was the pastor a good mentor to you, in the beginning stages of it? How did that work?
Yeah, my bishop, Royce Fields, that's my father in the gospel, and he's very powerful, and I honor that man of God. We stay close, and, that's my covering, and that's why we're so fruitful and prospering, because, I allow him to, pastor me. And so I'm able to help others because I got somebody that's helping me and mentoring me. So, we're very well connected. And they're supportive of what we're doing. And so, we're continuing the work. Even us with South Campus, even it's not just us, we have a tremendous team, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our team that is making this train go.
Gotcha.
We share the vision, and we have people, on our team at Southeast Campus that grab hold of it and they run with the vision. And that's why we have been expanding. Especially in this year 3, we're not just having, being effective in the community center. We are in the school systems. Absolutely. And we're impacting and providing resources and funds and building people in the schools. We're connected to senior citizen homes and, serving and being with them. We are connected to homeless outreach places and connecting with them and building people and serving people. And it's all because, we have a great team, and I serve my bishop well. And so the Lord has honored us with a great staff to continue the work of the Lord. Absolutely.
Staying on topic, with this generation that's coming up, what would you tell them? Because in my opinion, I feel like this new generation coming up is the not all of them, but some of them are a very unbelieving generation. If you've never seen God work a miracle, you won't believe it until you see it. That was Old Testament versus New Testament versus what we live today. You gotta put your finger in the side of them just to, just to check and be sure, because you just don't have the faith or you're unbelieving. So what would you tell this new generation about having faith? And then not only having faith, how to nurture the faith. See, everybody wants to say they want to do something, or I'm going back to church, I want to do this, but how do you nurture it? How do you stay consistent? What do you teach about that?
I think that starts with, leadership in the church. If you want to connect with this generation, you have to be real with the Lord, and they need to experience a real presence of God. We always talk about people saying we need to do this and we need to figure out these programs and get them here. And it's a lot of entertainment kind of business. Man, these kids want to know truth. They want to know God is real, and they need to experience, the power and presence of God. If we're going to affect our generation, it's more than a shout and praise break and, our late night, teen night where we're just playing music and keep them busy and then send them home. No, they need to experience the real presence of the Lord. And it starts with pastors and leadership that are real. And live in the fear of the Lord, and there's a real sincere, authentic presence of God. Because if the kids get a hold of God for real, like she was saying earlier, the kids are excited. We're connecting with a generation of kids, and we have more young people than we have older people in our church. I mean, and that's just how our ministry is growing right now. The kids are excited because they are experiencing God for themselves, and so that's a witness all in itself.
And they I think we underestimate the youth in this generation because they have the questions. They have so many resources to find out from the people who actually lived through it what these experiences was during that course of the time, with YouTube and Facebook and all the stuff that you can retro and go back to get a insight on, which leads me to one of your messages that you did called The Value of Truth. The value of truth is very powerful. Explain, just a quick synopsis of what that message was of the value of truth.
When you come into truth, not just our assumptions and our thoughts, but when we really dig in the Word and allow Scripture to interpret Scripture, and we come into a good understanding, biblical understanding of who God is, it changes us, it impacts us. It does cause us to become new creatures. And it does cause old things to pass away. It does cause, all things to be made new. And so, it's valuable. And, so we have to teach truth. We have to not only tell the truth, but we got to live the truth before our young generation, because studies show, and you see it, man, they're getting to that age 18, and then they're just walking away from the faith, completely, and that's tragic, so but it's because they're not seeing or experiencing God truth. They're not experiencing truth, and we have to teach truth. So that means leaderships and pastors, churches, they have to be apt to teach. So when they ask questions, this generation is different. The older generation, they just did what they were told. You gotta explain.
And
you
it's
gotta,
hard to break that cycle.
Yeah, so you got to teach them, and you have to be patient with them, and and that patience is key, because they're growing, they're learning. We got to remember where we were. We had to learn and grow. So and so we're understanding a lot of different things about this, and the Lord is truly helping us, and that's why I'm saying, a lot of kids are being drawn to the ministry, and so we're just doing our best as the Lord helps us to teach them and to train them up, life skills, natural and spiritual, and to develop and cultivate them to be our next generation of leaders.
All right, so let's swing it back to the actual church anniversary. We got about 4 minutes here left on the show. Where can people come out this up and coming week? I know it looks like a 4-day or a 3-day series that you guys got going on for the anniversary. So what's going on with that? Who's coming? Who's preaching? Whole 9 yards. What we got?
Oh, we start on Wednesday. So it's exciting. We have Turning Point Family Worship Centers coming in, and their assistant pastor, Sister Tanya Harris, is coming in. She is dynamite in the Lord. So she'll be there, and Turning Point Family on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have Apostle Benjamin Moore, who will be with us. He's very powerful in the Word, and he's from Empowerment Church. So that's Thursday night. Friday, we have Pastor Matthew Kanata out of Fishers in the Potter's House. So he'll be with us, and really great fellowship. And then Sunday, we have Evangelist George Hurt, who's coming in, who flows heavily in the prophetic, and just powerful in the Word of God. And so, we're going to be doing that on Sunday, and then we're going to have a, fellowship dinner afterwards. It's getting catered in, so everyone can stay. We're not charging $8 for a dinner. Now you can come relax and eat with us, and we're just looking for God. We're looking for God, and we're anticipating the power of God to be with us. So we're just really excited.
All right, and First Lady, where can everybody stay connected with Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus?
So they can stay connected with us either via our mobile app. It's Bethesda South. It is on Google Play or at the App Store. Our website is www.btacsouth.org. And we do stream our services live on that as well.
Okay. All right. So once again, Indianapolis, we appreciate you guys tuning in with us on air and also on Facebook Live at Insight Sundays. Make sure you stay connected with us also too on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. And we will check you guys out next week.